Welcome back. Before getting into mushroom production, there are several conditions that a farmer should factor in. Some of these conditions are temperature, humidity, light, fruiting body, and ventilation. As for Leonard, before he starts planting, he ensures that the room's humidity is well maintained by spraying the walls with cold water or using wet blankets to keep the temperatures low.
For mushroom production, at first, before planting, you need to measure on 3 factors, that is the moisture content, ammonia content, and pH level. So those are the main factors that you consider. The other factors that you also measure inside your structure. At first, you need to maintain a humidity that is at 85%. You can also spray on the walls. You can also hang like things like structures like blankets. You water them. That way the room temperatures will go down. So that's why we say that at temperatures of 10 to 20 degrees, your mushroom spawn will develop your mycelium correctly.
A mushroom house or farming area can be made from the following: steel structure tubing covered with sheets, bamboo woven mating insulated inside with polythene sheets, grass thatched houses or with shade cloth thatching, greenhouses covered with insulation or roof vents, and mud-walled house. Leonard, as an experienced farmer, opts to use a mud house. This is because the house is able to maintain cool temperatures necessary for the mushroom growth.
The structure for mushroom growth is also a major factor to consider. Again, the media that you're using to construct, it has to be a bad conductor of heat. That is, it cannot allow heat from outside penetrate to your structure, inside your structure. So you can either use a mud house, you can use a stone house, you can use the timber, ile ambao, you can use that one. So those are the major factors. Again, another factor to consider is the ventilation. You need several ventilation. You can also have 2 doors, 2 windows, you see. Also up here in our room, you can see we have the gunia that tumeshona. This is also, it also helps to control much of heat from the sun, from the iron sheets, you see. So those are the major factors to consider. Again, it doesn't need much light during the day when it comes to now harvesting. Much of exposure of mushrooms to light, the mushroom grows towards the direction of light. It gets a long stipe, that is a stem, and also it opens. It doesn't maintain its fruit like it opens. When a farmer is beginning his production, you can also maximize your space using the shelves. You can use several shelves as much as the height of your room. So if you have a very long, very tall height of the room, the more the shelves that you can have. So it's always good to build the shelves. The shelves maximizes your space of production. You can also use polythenes, the large polythene sheets. You lay them on the beds and you invest your work there.
A farmer should renew their substrate after every harvest. This is because the mushroom crop consumes all the nutrients in the substrate in every planting season. Thus, a new crop requires a new substrate, as Leonard explains.
Immediately, you prepare your substrate, you plant, and you harvest. The substrate gets all the nutrients out, you see. It gets rid of all the nutrients. The spawns get rid of all the nutrients that were in your substrate. So immediately you complete your harvesting during the 2nd month, you let everything outside, you throw it outside, you mix it with other soils and do other things, do other croppings. So that way you start a fresh substrate, a fresh materials from the agrovet and from the suppliers of the wheat straw.
Mushroom takes 2 months to mature. After proper tendering, the crop is harvested every day for 2 months before the next plantation. Production of the crops depends on how well a farmer takes care of the mushroom, though like other crops, there are times the harvest declines. At Bunny L Farm, they start harvesting at the 3rd month since planting. During harvesting, they are able to harvest as much as 40 to 50 kilograms per day. This is variant because of the water intake of the mushroom plant.
When it comes to the 3rd month, that is when you begin your harvesting. So there are those requirements that you need. You need your packaging, materials. You also need your harvesting materials. So you use small knives, a small brush to wipe out any soil that might have splashed onto your button mushroom. You also need waste buckets to collect the waste materials after cutting the very part that was in the soil. You see, so those are the needs you require. So in a day, those are the activities mostly that you carry out in a day. When it comes to the production part, there are those activities that maybe you consider so that you can get your production. Availability of humidity in your house, it increases your production. If you fail to spray your mushrooms correctly, they lower the production. And that is the very thing that separates excellent farmers from average farmers. The input that you carry out in your house, you see. So if you avail humidity, humidity is supposed to be availed at 85%, you see, 85%. So failure to that will lower your production. Again, you won't harvest for long because the absence of water, it even seals the casing, such that not much production of will appear in your room. So in a day you can make at around 40 kgs to 50 kgs. That is after much keen on spraying of water.
Watering the mushroom crop is the most delicate task. This includes knowing when and how much water to apply to the mushroom casing. Water constantly moves throughout the cropping period. Water is lost through evaporation and transpiration and takes up water into its cells. It is then replaced when watering the casing layer. The increase in the weight of mushroom from pinning to maturing is related to the rapid uptake of water from the casing and the compost. The mushroom doubles in size 2 days before harvesting, putting more strain on the pipe system in the compost and casing. As the mushroom matures during a flush, its weight gain is attributed to the accumulation of nutrients and water from the substrate. Leonard uses a knapsack sprayer to measure the required amount of water to sprinkle on the mushroom crop.
In a day, you maybe measure it in the knapsack sprayers, so you use around 4 pumps of 20 liters, so that's almost 60 liters to 70 liters in a day, where you spray your mushrooms in intervals of 3 hours to 2 hours. You avail humidity to 85%. That way you increase your production.
Pests and diseases are always a challenge to any farmer doing either crop or animal production in agriculture. Although mushroom is an edible fungus, it is also affected by diseases.
Diseases that are mostly noted in the mushroom area, they come from the water that you use, the activities that we carry out, the hygiene in your place. So those are the main factors that bring about diseases. So you sometimes you notice that the water that you are using has the impurities, you see, it's contaminated water. Directly if you spray your mushrooms and they are white in color, contaminated water directly changes the color of your mushrooms. And bad quality, that means bad market, you see. So if you don't have quality, there is no good market for you. Yeah. Other diseases that incur, they are failure to cultivate your land, failure to cultivate your bags correctly. In a case that there is a dead part of the mushroom, maybe there were waste materials, you see. So those are the ones that bring in pests like the flies, you see. So other pests that get in are the rats. So panya, they are much destructive. They can destroy your project completely. So those are the main factors that affect mushroom. The diseases part, we use fungicides to control them. So immediately you notice that part of the mushroom has change in color, you get your pesticides, you dilute in a pump and it's direct to spray. When it comes to the rats, there are those medicines from the agrovet we get, tunaziekea huku na unaipata tu kama umekufa unaiondoa.
Mushrooms are harvested within a 2 to 4 day period in a 7 to 10 day cycle called flashes or breaks. When mature mushrooms are picked, an inhibitor to mushroom development is removed and the next flash moves towards maturity. Timing of the breaks of flashes is managed by controlling the water schedule, carbon dioxide and temperatures. Mushrooms are harvested by hand and picked at a time before the cap becomes soft, indicating a mushroom that is past prime fresh quality. Potential depends primarily on the amount of crop on the beds and the size of the mushrooms.
When it comes to harvesting, it's either back in the evening or early in the morning, depending on the marketplace where you are delivering your mushrooms. When it comes to harvesting, you need at least 3 people or 4 people. At least 2 will be harvesting with the knives, cleaning the mushroom very, very correctly. Then somebody else will be weighing with the digital machine. Then another person will be wrapping and packing, ready for market. In a year, you can be consistent all through, from January to December. Because when you look at the climate factors that you need, the conditions that you need here in your room, there are conditions that you can meet them yourself. So if you are able to make a compost in January, so come February you're harvesting, you see, immediately you start harvesting, have yourself another room where you'll start another compost, so that by the time the very first room is out of production, the next room will be in production. That way you'll be in the market from January to December.
The demand for mushrooms is so high that Leonard and Bob are at times forced to turn down orders because they cannot meet the demand.
At the beginning, it was a hard task for us because we went to the market was very wide and we didn't have enough mushrooms to deliver. So we went back in Westlands and we got an order at ABC place. So the mushrooms that they required, we didn't have the same amount. So we had to harvest our mushrooms, then get back to the open market, purchase more mushrooms and deliver. So it got a time that our mushrooms zikaisha, you see, zikaisha. And we had not planted another substrate outside. We were just new farmers in the market. So our order, we were just sasa tukaacha kusupply because our main place pale, we didn't have something to deliver, you see. So also that's also another challenge. If you are not consistent in the market, it's a main challenge. But if you have much of production, you can get as many orders as possible.
Though the demand is high, it is not always rosy when it comes to mushroom farming. Challenges range from investment, farming and management of the mushroom plant.
The major challenge with our beginners, our starting farmers, who are starting from zero, mainly the capital part, you need at least to get something, a good amount, approximately 50,000 to push on. So immediately you get your capital, now you are ready to start up with the project. Again, our major challenge comes in when it comes to the rate of watering. How much water our soil needs for our mushrooms to absorb. Again, while spraying water, we don't need much of penetration to the substrate. So there is avoid much of dripping. Make your soil moist, you see. So avoid much of dripping, make your soil moist. So that is the major challenge that is facing many farmers, and that is the major challenge that is differentiating the excellent and the middle farmers. One of the major things that is controlling that is making farmers not to have enough supply is the part of the preparation of the substrate. Again, activities when it comes to harvesting, you see. So if you don't have a good substrate, it will limit your harvesting period, you see. If your activities inside here are not to the optimum, they will also limit your your harvesting period. So that is the major challenge that is facing our market. That's why you find that mushrooms now are imported from Rwanda. You see, they are coming from a Kigali farm. So you find that they are a bit of competitive here in Kenya. The main reason is substrate preparation. Many farmers are not able to make good substrate. Substrate that has the rich moisture content, the ammonia part, all things that we talked about. Again, activities here, you see, they limit your harvesting period. So that is the main thing that is we are finding back in the market. You find a farmer has been in the market for maybe 2-3 weeks. Come the 4th week, he's not able to supply much of mushrooms. That is why we came up with a training center. We want to make sure that each interested farmer, every interested farmer, has got the knowledge to make sure that he has the maximum 2 months of harvesting that he is able to meet the market.
Mushroom farming is suitable and profitable venture. This is because it does not require a large piece of land, does not depend on natural climate, and there is also a huge demand for the produce.
The benefits of mushroom farming, again, it is you can look on the money side, money value. You see that it is a daily activity that is paying you every morning. Also, that is it depends on your input. If your input is high, the production will be high. While packaging our products, we package in quarters that accumulate to a kg. So a quarter per net goes for 150. So in a day you can make even to 100 per net. You see. So having your quarters with you are ready for the market. In a whole crop, we are able to maybe make around for 50 bales, we make around 500 kgs. You see, 500 kgs in a demand of 700 tons. You see, so the demand for mushroom is very high. So if you have multiple farmers in us, we will be able at least to conquer the market.
Bunny L Farm doubles up as a training center. The farm carries out farm training and farm visits to farmers interested in learning how to plant mushrooms.
Immediately we did much of research on mushroom part. We did on the challenges of mushroom preparation part. We did on the correct ratios. We diagnosed everything, and we came up with a good training farm. And we saw that we had all the features that we require. We did research on the challenges, the market part, and we came up with a training center. So we also train interested farmers. Part of our training here in us, we encourage our farmers. We link our farmers to the market. We take them to the open market. We also advise our farmers to have their label, have a registered company with them, so that they can establish themselves even when we are going back in town to look for market. So the marketplaces are very many, and that's why you find that we are getting competition from outside the country, because we are not able to meet the market here. So that one is a sure bet. The market is there, and we link our farmers to the market.
Leonard and Bob are young farmers who do not regret to have started mushroom farming. Their daily income earning from bumper harvests amount to approximately 15,000 shillings per day. They ensure to pack their mushroom in pannets for easy transportation. The cost of a mushroom pannet at Bunny L Farm goes for 250 shillings. Farmers should take up mushroom farming because its investment capital is recuperated 3 weeks after harvesting. Young farmers should form smaller farmers groups through which they can contribute the capital investment amount of mushroom farming, and the returns are manifested within the sale of their first produce. This will contribute to the increase of mushroom supply to measure the market demand in the country.